Good morning, guys. It's been a while since I've actually talked about investing. You guys have been sending me questions. This question was pretty old. I wanted to sort of touch on it because actually right now is a really good time to invest. My uncle was telling me every single election, the stocks and stuff just plummet. When you're old, it sucks. Whenever that shit happens, don't look at it as a bad thing if you're young. It's actually a really good thing because that's the mother Leo. And it's a great time to get into a market. I would start investing now. Yeah, so I have Tommy today. He's saying that he's learned a little bit about investing through Joe's vlog and me just talking, right? And he wanted to get a head start with investing. He was like, how did you get started with investing? And what tools/resources helped you along the way? If you guys don't know my story, I actually got started with really basic investing, default planning. It's like the road that most of the population, 85 to 90% of people just should start doing. I think when I started investing, I was about maybe 13 or I was very young. My uncle actually pulled me aside at my cousin's birthday dinner and he's like, Kevin, you can't be like your mother parents. You can't leave money in the bank because you're gonna be losing money. And being 12 or 13, whatever age I was, I didn't give a fuck about that shit, you know, because when you're that young, money, it's not a huge part of your life. You know, I listened to my uncle. We used to go hit up Chuck E. Cheese for my report card and stuff. He just talked about investing. I did like an aggressive like fidelity fund, right? And I lost a shitload of money. It wasn't a shitload, but probably lost a G. Back then was quite a bit, but that's because I didn't look at it and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. My uncle, he would sometimes drop off Money Magazine, Kiplinger, sort of these magazine, personal finance. And this is before the age of the internet really took off. Back then, it was just all magazines. When I got into college, that's when I really started investing more because money, it becomes more of an issue. I hit an overdraft fee. That really sucked. If you guys don't know what an overdraft fee is, it's when you go to your bank, you take out too much money and they penalize you, right? That was the real motivation. I just realized at that point, I was like, oh man, if I don't change, I'm gonna be fucking homeless and having to suck a dick on the street. No one wants to do that. I went back to my roots. I was reading Money Magazine. I think Money Magazine is really an easy way to understand default planning and get the updated news. And it's only like 10 bucks per year. I'm pretty sure you can afford that. Another resource that really helped influence me was actually Ramit Sethi's I Will Teach You to Be Rich. It definitely set all the basics down and I refer to that book a lot, even though it's hella dated now. It's 2009. It was written 7 years ago, but the automated investing and all that, that is the most important thing that I got out of that. I've bought a lot of other books like The Millionaire Next Door, Best Investment You Can Ever Buy, but honestly, you want to keep it simple. Don't get too overwhelmed with research. I think the most important thing about investing is just taking action, buying funds and automating it. So I'm a huge fan of automation because a lot of time, I'll be real, I'm fucking lazy. I think sometimes we gotta use our laziness to our advantage and it forces us to think in other creative ways. Especially nowadays, like back in the late 90s, there wasn't really the internet so you could buy your funds. You'd have to like literally write out a paper and shit and submit it and so much more bullshit. But it's so easy now. I wrote an article back on Refugee Hustle, maybe I'll link it below, but basically it was just highlighting the different funds. Like I always recommend open up a Roth IRA because you get special tax stuff, which I'll go into another video maybe someday. If you're even more scared, you can always do like a taxable account or something like that. Either way, just start investing right now. Those were the most important things in my life that I learned. Obviously my conversation with my uncle, he in sort of a weird way, he was almost like my father. I think for you, if you're asking this question, try to find someone who's very knowledgeable about this sort of stuff, who can talk to you about what sort of things should I look out for, or what exactly is expense ratio. Start asking questions, like go through a magazine and just be like, what is that term? I don't understand it. And sort of understand the language and all that sort of stuff, right? When is optimal time to start investing? If you never invested, now. Doesn't matter, market high, market low, just allocate a certain amount every single month. If you're getting a steady paycheck, maybe you're just like, my first job, I was getting almost like $6 an hour, pretty shitty, right? Let's say if you work, I don't know, 1 day out of the week, right? And so every week you get 50 bucks. With that 50 bucks, I would recommend taking at least like 10% of that. So like 5 to 10 bucks every single out of the paycheck, and just allocating it toward funds and stuff. And I think that's the best time, because sometimes the hardest part is actually just getting started. You're the most motivated at this time, and you're most likely gonna take action. The longer you wait, it's not gonna work out. It's just like talking to a girl. Like if you don't approach her right away, you're probably not gonna talk to her. Tommy also asked, what type of investing do you do? Stocks, bonds, mutual funds? I do mostly index funds, which is just a bunch of stocks and stuff like that to diversify my risk. I don't do any bonds right now because the government at this time, which might change by next year, but the bonds are actually being, the interest rates really suck on them. They're like less than 1%. Honestly, I make more on my bank account than that. And so I just throw everything into a market right now. Eventually, the strategies like bond laddering and stuff like that. But honestly, just stick with the basics and just learn as you go. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I'm ahead of the game just because I started young and I just took action, right? What steps should I take to get started down the line? So if you want to get started ASAP, find a company like I recommend Vanguard or Fidelity. Open up a brokerage account, aka basically investing bank account, right? Pick the funds that you want to do. So it's really easy. I always recommend just going with the basic index funds if you're young. If you are really lazy, you don't know what to do, target date retirement funds or life cycle funds. Basically what these funds are, they actually allocate as you get older, because you can't take the same risk as you were when you're younger, you know? And so these funds actually reallocate as you get older. But either one, at this age, just get started. That's the main point of this video. You want to get started as soon as possible. You don't want to wait. But yeah, you open up an account, look for an account that you want. Decide if you want a Roth IRA or like a taxable account. Like I said, I recommend if you're just getting started, just do a Roth IRA. And honestly, I have both. I've had a 401k, a Roth IRA, and a taxable account. So I've had all these sort of vehicles and stuff, and it's basically just how you get taxed. What mistakes did I make in the beginning that could have been avoided? Man, that's a good question. When I lost that money when I was a little kid, I wasn't really interested. One of the mistakes I made was like, I think just making it fun, man. This stuff is hella fun. When you start looking at like a game, it makes it more real and more fun. Like I enjoy watching my accounts like go up and down and stuff like that. And it's like going on slick deals. You see a really low price for something that you want and you're like, oh shit, it's on sale, I gotta buy more. You need some sort of positive reinforcement for this habit. That's one thing I sort of struggle nowadays. You know, I'm investing all this money, but I actually don't enjoy my money at all. But that's because like, honestly, when you're young, you can afford to make the small sacrifices. Honestly, at my age, in my bracket, you can do without that $700, $800, $1,000. You can make sacrifices and it's not really gonna hurt you. But when you have kids or anything later down the line, that's gonna hurt you a lot more. I think these were actually really great questions. If you guys have any more investment questions, please feel free to comment below. I know that was a very quick overview of investing, but I plan on doing like a course actually. I'm still working on it. I've been working on it for like almost 2 years, but you know, like if I'm going to do a paid course and stuff, I just want to make sure it's of real value. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I just want to take everything I learned and just put it into one thing. Let me ask you, what are some of your investments? If you haven't started investing, tell me why in the comments below. Anyways guys, see you next time. Peace.
Once you finish, you can pay off your loans in like 2-3 years, no problem. You can save a bunch of money, buy my nice clothes, nice shoes, nice purses. Well, when you get out and you actually do get a job, I mean, yes, you're very excited, but